Now, I don't want to oversell it or undersell it, but this is a massive win for not just gamers, which, of course, is the most oppressed class on the planet, but it is a win for consumers in general. It is bigger than, even bigger than, for example, successful boycotts at companies like Bud Light, because Bud Light actually never came out and apologized. But in this particular case, they didn't have a choice. Sony essentially, I'll just TLDR it because I think this is important for even people that don't know about this game or how we got here. But there's a game, a very popular game, that a lot of people are playing on either PlayStation or on their computers. If you play on PlayStation, you already have a PlayStation account tied with that. If you play on computers, you may have bought the game from Steam, for example. And suddenly, out of nowhere, PlayStation started to demand that players who are playing the game on Steam create a PlayStation account on top of Steam. Now, a lot of people push back for a variety of reasons, including a long storied history of digital insecurity with PlayStation accounts. The fact that people would have to manage yet another account. Yes, if you already had a PlayStation 4 or 5 or whatever, you already had an account, even if, for example, I have a PlayStation and I have PC. If I'm going to play a game like Helldivers, I'll choose to play on PC over PlayStation. But I already have an account, so it's like, whatever. But the thing is, many, 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 many people did not have accounts or want accounts. Hundreds of thousands of people. In fact, when the hammer got brought down, they ended up having the game pulled in 170 different countries. The game itself was pulled. The decision is part of a new requirement to connect the game to a PlayStation account, even in countries where PlayStation accounts weren't available. So essentially, if you had bought this game on Steam, for example, and you were playing it, you're enjoying this game, it's got hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, it's a very, very popular game. You're playing it. Suddenly, Sony says, well, because we're the distributor of this game or we have these rights to the game, we want you to give us your data. We want you to give us your information so we can sell it and we can make money in that manner. That's how most people perceived it. Well, the problem was a ton of countries, PlayStation wasn't even available. So you could play the game, but because you couldn't have a PlayStation account, they just took the game away from people. 170 countries. Of course, that was on Friday. So it announced that everyone playing the game would need to link the game to an active PlayStation Network account where they lose access to the game, while linking the PC version of the game to PSN has been an option since the game's launch. It was not a requirement until just now. The linking is necessary to help developer Arrowhead Game Studio and Sony crack down on bad actors in the online game. So essentially, they're trying to say, oh, well, this is for people who are cheating. We need to have a PlayStation account to police this. I don't know how much of that is true, how much of that is just marketing wonk, trying to convince people, oh, that's, we're doing this for you. This is for the greater good. That announcement has led to the game being pulled from the Steam in countries where PlayStation is not an option. It's only supported in 90 countries. Valve has reportedly made the decision to offer refunds to customers in all affected regions, even if they're playing the game for a substantial period of time. Steam, by the way. Steam, for those who don't know, it's a digital marketplace where most PC gamers buy a lot of our games. The reason gamers buy games through Steam is because of moments like this. Steam has power. They have the power to push back against developers and publishers to make things right for their customers. And normally there's I think is it 10 hours? It's like, if you played a game for under a couple of hours, Steam will let you refund a game. A policy that is, literally nobody else on the planet has done for all the way back to boxed software. I remember when I worked at Office Max and we would have boxed software and people would try to buy like Norton antivirus and return it. I'd be like, bro, you can't do that. You can't just go home and install it and then bring back the game or bring back the software. Normally, the companies, that's 2 hours or less. So normally it's 2 hours or less. The move, especially those refunds, is likely to be a huge blow to Sony. Helldivers 2 was released earlier this year and is one of PlayStation's all-time greatest sellers, thanks in large part to the PC version of the game. As of May 1st, the game was Arrowhead's best-selling premium game of 2024, and so far, it was Sony's 7th highest revenue game ever in terms of lifetime sales, and it only launched 2 months ago. Well, after a massive backlash and massive groundswell of people talking about it, even people like Grums, Mark Kern, and people all over X, and gamers all around the world were massively leaving negative reviews for the game. Now that they've reversed it, though, I hope, to be honest with you, I hope that Steam, I hope that everyone that left a negative review on Steam goes back and, leaves it as a positive review. You could see it as mostly mixed right now, but a lot of people are coming back and leaving positive comments. So I suspect this will trend way more positive over time. If we want to look at show graph, obviously you can see here wildly negative when the news broke. May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, negative. And now as of today, as news pours in, at least 50,000 positive reviews have been left for the game. This on the heels of this response from Sony. Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. Again, I cannot stress this enough, friends. This is the power that the consumers hold. Platforms like Steam are so incredibly important because they centralize gamers, they centralize consumers. They let our voices be heard in ways that are very difficult in any other communities. We're still learning what's best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thank you for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. Now, this is a W, okay? When we get together, and come out and say, hey, we're not okay with this thing, and then the company fixes it, then we should not be, dumping on the company after that. But let's make no mistake about it. PlayStation only did this because people started refunding the game en masse. And the only reason that it was successful, part of the biggest reasons, is that Steam stood with the gamers. Steam refunded these thousands and thousands and thousands of purchases, thereby forcing Sony, who is probably getting chargebacks like crazy, to reverse course. They were never going to probably do this otherwise. Of course, people are talking about Sony and the fact that, there's still work to be done. There's still levels of censorship that exist in, for example, Stellar Blade. But you can see a lot of people are playing. Democracy intensifies. You see this one, 53,000 likes. While this is a victory for players, you've left a lasting stain on your brand as a publisher. Many people have very little reason to trust Sony going forward. Moving the business before you understand the player base is never the right choice. 53,000 likes. Now everyone can leave Arrowhead alone. This is an absolute W. Again, it's important that Arrowhead is the developer. They were not the ones requiring this. They were not the ones who made this decision. It was Sony. Fans and developers won. Maybe next time, listen to developers. Arrowhead is clearly in tune with gamers. Now, it wouldn't be a quartering video if I didn't point out, though, that it seems like a lot of these, developers or community managers for this game are not great people. You see, don't ever say gamers can't change things. Y'all got Sony to cave to free Helldivers from the PSN requirement. One down, want to go sign the petition talking about Stellar Blade. But you also see stuff like this, where their community managers, anyone here is a Grums fan, please out yourself so I can help you out the door. Is that one mod still freaking out about Grums? I mean, they banned Grums basically from the Helldivers Discord. Helldivers moderator Purple Squidgen falsely proclaims that I have put my hands on women without their permission to many people. Falsely claims that I sent people to go after the community managers and families. currently banning anyone who defends me. So it seems like Helldivers still has... That's the thing with these community managers, by the way. Leftists know they can identify positions of power that most people overlook, and they have infested many of these community managers and moderators, and they've received these positions in these various discords, and they lord over people. It's important to keep, in mind. This guy making a outright lie, just a factually lie. Someone who's done terrible things to many people he worked with, lost his position CEO, and now he's a far-right influencer. None of that is true. Like, that is a libelous statement. Libelous. So, be careful with Helldivers too, their management, but it is good to see that Steam stood behind players, refunded it, and they got things changed. Shout out to democracy. Good luck to everyone enjoying the game. Shout out gamers. You did it. We'll talk to you again real soon.